Hello everyone and very good morning to all. Welcome to ITLS Academy. Myself Advocate Priyanka and I am your mentor for the series of clinical research. In this series today we are going to talk about the data management in clinical trials. This is lecture 8 of our this series. So first I will give you a very short flashback of previous session. In previous session we have talked about the Data and Safety Monitoring Board. So Data and Safety Monitoring Board is also known as in the name of Data Monitoring Committee. In short you can say it DMC or Data and Safety Monitoring Committee, that is called DSMC in the short. For Data and Safety Monitoring Board, you can tell in DSMB also it in the short. So basically, a DSMB is a board of few members that basically monitors the safety of study participants and the effectiveness of the study investigational therapy during a clinical trial. So if we want to explain it in a very normal language, or you can say in a layman language, then we can say basically DSMB is the board which members basically analyze the clinical trial data, and they basically see that is it safe to go for this clinical trial or it is not safe. After that, we have talked about the purpose of Data and Safety Monitoring Board, and we have also talked about that what is the basically difference between the Data and Safety Monitoring Board and Institutional Review Board. All these things, if you want to see, then you can go to the previous video, that is lecture 7, and there you can see in details about all these things. So I will just give you a very short highlight. So what is the purpose of Data and Safety Monitoring Board? So basically its purpose to review and accumulate the clinical data, and after that they analyze. So its purpose is not only limited to the analyze. Their second purpose, or you can say main purpose, is also to make the recommendation that this clinical trial should be continue, should be modified, or it should be terminated. So this is the basically main purpose of Data and Safety Monitoring Board. And then there is the process of Data and Safety Monitoring Board also. In that we have talked that how it basically works. So first they collect data, then they review data, and after that they give the recommendation. So if you want to see the detail about this process, you can go to the previous video. After that we have seen that what is the composition of Data and Safety Monitoring Board, and then how members for DSMB are appointed. All these things are given in very detail in the lecture 7. So now we will move to our today's topic, that is the data management in clinical trial, or you can say clinical data management. So in this video, we will talk about the clinical data management, and I have added few subtopics for this video. That is the what is clinical data management, why this data management is required, then what are the stages of clinical data management, and what is the basically composition of data management team. It is not board, basically it is the team. So what is the team composition, what are the responsibilities of various members of the team. So all these things we are going to see in this video. So to understand clinical data management, I have added two pictures from the Google image, obviously. So see this when we talk about the clinical, then obviously things related to patients, related to medicines, related to disease, all things come in our mind. So this is basically picture which is showing that what is basically clinical. And then if we talk about the clinical data, so clinical data, then obviously it is the data of the patient, data of the digit, data of the symptoms. All these things are basically clinical data. So, and when we add management, so obviously you have understood that basically to manage the data of the all patients and their symptoms, their well-beings, all these things, to manage all these things is called collectively clinical data management. Now, if you go through the like formal definition, then you can say that CDM is the process of collection, cleaning, and management of subject data in compliance with regulatory standards. So obviously, if anything is managed, it is managed according to the any standard. So here we are talking about the clinical, so it is managed in accordance with the regulatory standards. So it is basically, and what is meaning of the subject data? Subject data is the meaning of the all all participants who are participating in basically in that respective clinical trials. So clinical data management, it is basically process to manage all subject data of clinical trial. Now, why clinical data management is required? Obviously, if there is anything, there is a purpose of that, or there is some reason behind that why it is required. So clinical data management is required for various reasons. I have just summarized few reasons here. So first is that to provide high quality data by keeping the number of errors and missing data as low as possible. So see, if any clinical trial is going on, obviously there are so many data. If they will be not managed properly, then obviously there will be error in data, there will be loss in data, and then result will be also not satisfactory, or you can say result will be not in the accordance with the what for the clinical trial has been done. And it is also to gather maximum data. Like if we are not managing the data, then we will be not able to gather the maximum data. We will gather very little data because we are not able to manage the data. So to gather maximum data, also this clinical data management is required. And then obviously when it is required to gather the data, then obviously why? Because to determine that if like for any clinical trial, if it is going for any new medicine, any medical device, is it safe or effective, or is it not safe or effective? To see these all the things, clinical data management is very important aspects of any clinical trial. Now we will see that what are the basically main stages of clinical trial. So basically there are 5 main stages of clinical trial. First is planning, second is data collection, third is data validation, fourth is database locking, and then fifth is analysis and reporting. So we will see all these stages in the detail. So first we will go through, that is first stage, that is planning. As its name only indicating that uh, it is planning of complete clinical data management for the respective clinical trial. So obviously if we start anything, first we do the planning. Like just for the simple example, if you want to celebrate the birthday party, then obviously first what will you do? You will do that how will you plan the birthday party? Like in birthday party there are so many things like food, decoration, gifts, all the things. So you will plan for all the things, that which food you will be you will give, you will serve, what type of decoration you will do, what type of gifts you will bring, or what type of return gifts you will bring. So all these things are main aspects of the that birthday party. And for that, what is the first important main stage? You will have to do planning, that how will you manage all the things. So like that, here also for the clinical data management, that is the main aspect of clinical trial. First we will do the planning, that how will we manage these clinical data management various components. So planning is the first and main important step of the clinical trial data management. So in planning here, what will we do? Planning like birthday party, we will do planning here, like what is the protocol design. So what will be the protocol for the clinical trial, that to for the clinical trial data, to collect the data, to enter the data. So what will be the protocol? So you will design the, I mean not you will, who is in the member of this team, they will design that what will be the protocol design. Then what is the data management plan? Like how will you manage the data? Like see, I have given you the example of birthday party. Like how will you manage the birthday party? Like how will you tell to how will you manage the dance area, or how will you manage the sitting area? So like this also there is a data management plan, that how will you manage that, how data will be managed throughout the process. Then case report form. Case report form or CRF, it is basically an electronic or paper document which is used in clinical trial to record the protocol and required information about each participant. Like there are so many participants will come for any particular clinical trial. So you will have to enter the details of data, like for each participant separately. So for that you will require a form that will be in the paper form or in the electronic form, that they will fill all the details of their whatever is required, and that form is called case report form. So in this planning stage you will also plan that what things you are going to give in that particular form. Then there is database setup. So it is basically two type: clinical data management system or electronic data capture. It is to set up to store and collect the data. And so this setup is basically to done like how will you store, how will you collect this data. So as it is mentioned, clinical data management and electronic data capture. So clinical data management is basically broader system for managing all types of clinical data. And if we talk about the electronic data capture, then it is basically the method to capture the data in the real time. So what is the meaning of this here to in the real time? That like if see, if anyone is coming, any participant is coming, and then you have to enter their data, so that is the real time, you are doing in that real time only. So for this electronic data capture is required, as I told you that CRF, so it can be in electronic form also, or it can be in paper form also. Then next stage is data collection. So now, okay, we have done the planning. Now what will we do? We will collect the data. So for the data collection, as I explained in the previous slide only, that it is done through the using of CRF. CRF, then that is the case report form. And then CRF can be paper format or it may be in the electronic version. So what is basically difference between this paper and electronic version? So paper version is basically the traditional method. In starting there was no electronic things, no computer. So since starting it is done in the paper. It there is prescribed format, all details will be filled. But there are chances of error, or you can say chances of loss of data in this traditional method. Obviously if like something, some papers have missed or some data has filled wrong, and you will not be able to see the correctly, how you will be not able to see correctly, we will see that in the our next slide, that how it can be problematic. So this is the basically you can say it is not more efficient like the electronic version. And electronic and obvious also there is one thing like see in CRF, in ECRF, it is basically done in the system, and data is directly entered there, so there is no loss of data un until unless that system has been corrupted or something like that. So in that ECRF there is no loss of data, there is less error of data. And then also like there is a, you can say that for the paper CRF it should be done physically, that it should not be done remotely. If there is from another side and he wants to just enter the field, he will have to come to you or you will have to come to that person. But ECRF can be done in the remote way also. Obviously it is electronically, you can give the, they give the access to them and they just fill the form and send it to the that team. So second stage is data collection. It is done through the paper also or through the electronic version, and obviously electronic version is more efficient than the paper form of CRF. Now see, I have added one CRF template. It is source is Google, to to just give you a representation that how it looks the CRF. So basically see, it is given the all the sign details, symptoms details, that patient details, all things are explained, I mean all things are mentioned in this CRF template, and that that particular participants has to fill this these details. So this is the basically CRF template. Now Third stage is data validation. We have done planning, we have collected the data. Now next we have to validate, okay, is it, I mean, is this data is right, or there are some errors in this data. So at this time, as I told you during the explaining ECRF and paper CRF, that at this time, basically when it comes in the form of paper or when it comes in the form of electronic, how we will see that how there are chances of more errors in the form of paper. So basically data validation is the process of testing the validity of data in accordance with the protocol specification. So like all the data are according to the protocol, like if see any clinical trial uh, which should be done between the age of 18 and age of 55. So are all participants between this age, or some are 10, some are below 18, or some are above 18. So how will we check? So these check are done through the edit check programs. Now, if it is now if we have collected data in the paper format, if we have collected data in the paper format, then how will we run this edit check program? But if the data is in the electronic format, then obviously this uh, running of this check program can be done, and we can age easily find out that are all participants between 18 to 55. For example, if there is like inclusion criteria, as I explained that 18 to 55, here we have taken like 13 and 55. So in that case, at edit program will be written for two conditions, like is smaller than 30 or is greater than 55. And what will be the result? It will be highlighted, okay, like these few persons are more than 55, few persons are less than uh, 30. So in that case, the it will be highlighted, and then that discrepancy will be mentioned out in the form of data clarification form. So that is the CRF form, that is the different thing, and DCF, it is the different thing. It is important to remember when you are going to give some competitive exams where objective questions are asked, because it looks very similar. So DSF is basically for the what we have received data from the CRF. So for the clarification of that data, it is the data clarification form. Like in this form, what is done, that which data are not in the range, they will be mentioned, and there will be reason asked that why it is like that, and then that particular team will see the data, and then they will come with the answer, that is it wrong data, or individuals are really below 30 or more than 55, then they will be knocked out from that clinical trial participant list. So this is how we validate the data in clinical data management, and it is very important stage, because if we will not validate the data, then obviously result will be not right. So data validation is very important, and to validate data, it is very important that you can say that um, what data we have, it should be in the electronic format, because in the paper format it will be very difficult to see each paper and then check the data, and sometimes errors also come. So see, here you saw that how uh, ECRF is more efficient than the paper CRF. Now there is next step, that is fourth stage, database locking. Now after all the data validation, this data clarification form generation, and then the you can say the answer of that data clarification has also reached to you, then fourth stage what we will do, we will do the database locking, like we will lock the all data for the final locking. So but before the final locking, there is the final data validation is run, like to see that okay, we have done all the data validation, but still there can be some chances of error. So final data validation is run after complete prior data check, and then When it is okay that okay, this data is finalized, then this data are finalized in consultation with a statistician. So for the you I'm just mentioning that for this data management, biostatistics is also very important stream, because data are managed in consultation with them only. Then next stage is that pre-lock checklist. Why it is done? It is done to ensure that data management activities have been completed. Like there are various data management activities, or you can say data like collection and all the things. So there is the checklist. So they just prepare a pre-log checklist, and then they just check it. Okay, it is done, it is done, it is done. If there is something missing, they will do it. And because after data is logged, it cannot be changed. In very rare condition, it can be changed, but in general, it cannot be changed. And once the approval for locking is obtained from the all stakeholders, like this data pre-lock checklist is sent to all stakeholders this date, and if they confirm that okay, we can go, then after that database is logged and clean data. What is the meaning of clean data? Meaning of clean data, that there is no error in this data. This data is extracted for the further analysis. Now sorry, it is the fifth stage, that is the final stage. It is analysis and reporting. So when data is logged, clean data is extracted, then a statistical analysis is done for this. After which what results come, it is generated in the form of table and figures. And after that report generation, it is analyzed, conclusion are given. Okay, this all the data is are in the right, all this data can go, and after that it is communicated to all stakeholders, including to stakeholders, it is communicated to regulatory bodies and scientific community also. So this is the whole process of clinical data management. As I explained it in few slides, but it is not like very simple, like it can be done in the few hours or few minutes. It is a very complex or complicated process. That's why you can say that's why to maintain this data very expertise persons are required, because if there will be any error or any you can say mistake in the handling of this data management, then a result of whole clinical trial will be just like you can say it will be not right. So data management is a very important aspect in the field of clinical research, especially for the clinical trial. So now we will see that what are the responsibilities of various data management, what are their positions, how this CDM team works. So first is data manager. Data manager is basically responsible to supervise the entire CTM process. So they have very huge responsibility. They have to supervise all the things like from the planning to collection to final analysis. Now second, database programmer, they are responsible for CRF creation, edit, check, programming. So basically they do the CRF annotation and all the things. Then medical coder, what they do? Obviously in their name is only coding. So they are responsible for coding for adverse events, medical history, co-illness, and some medications administered, like some concomitant medications administered during the study. So all for this type of things, codings are done by the medical coder. Then there is clinical data coordinator. What they do? They basically design CRF form, then they design all the other checklist, or like I told you that before the locking there is some pre-locking checklist. So what should be there in that checklist, that what content should be there in that checklist, it is done by the clinical data coordinator. all the guideline preparation, discrepancy management, that when any error comes to how we find during the edit check program, then that discrepancy is managed and it is done by the clinical data coordinator. After that, there are some associate, quality control associate, and data entry associate. What is work of quality control associate? So they basically check accuracy of data entry and conduct data audit, like what data is entered, is it right or not. So it is done through the quality control associate. And then data entry associate, they basically enter the data, track the each CRF receipt, like how many CRF have filled, accordingly they will do the data entry. So this is the whole process of data management team, how they work. So I hope that you have understood that how data management work. We have talked about the data management, what is data management process, why it is required, and what are the members of data management. Now, if you have any doubts in this topic or in any previous topics, you can write in the comment section. I will come back with the doubt clearing session, obviously. And if you want to know about the unanticipated risk in clinical research, and truly I'm telling it would be very interesting topic, that like we know that there are some anticipated risk when we are going walking or anything, but there are some risks which are not anticipated, like unanticipated. Yeah, you see this picture explaining that you are walking and suddenly any banana peel comes under your foot. So this was unaccepted, unanticipated. So what are these unanticipated risks in clinical research? We will talk about this in our next video. So for now, I'm just closing this session. Thank you so much. And I just want to acknowledge, as always, that all images I have structured, but I have not generated from the scratch. These are taken from the Google image, and I have taken some contents also from the open study sources. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to follow ITLS Academy. You can find it on social platforms, on learning platforms, on Google Play also. Thank you so much, um, and like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.